Did you know that when your dog looks like incredibly guilty after completely destroying your favorite pair of sneakers, they aren't actually feeling sorry at all?
No, not even a little bit.
I know. You are probably sitting there right now thinking, no way. I've seen those huge puppy dog eyes. I've seen the tucked tail. They know exactly what they did.
Right, it really looks like they do.
But what if I told you that they are completely playing you? They aren't, reflecting on their bad choices. They are literally just hacking your emotions to get out of trouble,
Yeah, it's entirely an act of self-preservation.
which is wild.
It is. And it's actually the perfect example of the biggest mistake we make with our pets. We look at them and we see our best friends, right? So we just assume their reality, the way their brain actually processes the world, is just a slightly fuzzier version of our own.
Like a human in a fur coat.
Exactly. But a dog's brain is just an entirely different landscape.
Well, welcome to this deep dive into decoding the canine brain. If you're a student who has a dog at home, or, even if you just love animals and want to understand how they operate, you are in the exact right place today.
Absolutely.
We are breaking down how dogs actually learn, why they do the totally quirky and sometimes, let's be honest, frustrating things they do, and how you can use science to be the absolute best friend to them.
From the puppy years all the way to the end.
Right. Everything from their tiny, chaotic puppy days to their gray-muzzled senior years.
Because before you can successfully teach a dog anything, or even just, hang out peacefully with one after school, you really have to understand the biological machinery running inside their head.
Gears turning up there.
Yeah. And that story starts the second they are born, really kicking into high gear during a very, very specific window of their puppyhood.
Okay, let's start right there at the puppy phase. Because puppies are just, they're adorable little sponges, right? They absorb everything around them.
Hmm.
But I've heard that sponge phase doesn't last forever.
Oh, not at all. It comes with a very strict biological expiration date.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Between 3 and 14 weeks of age, a puppy's brain goes through this state of experience-dependent plasticity.
Whoa, hold on. Experience-dependent plasticity. You're going to have to translate that for me.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean for the puppy tearing up my living room?
Right, sorry. Think of their nervous system during those specific weeks as a sidewalk made of freshly poured wet cement.
Okay, wet cement. Got it.
Every single thing the puppy experiences, meeting a super tall person, a person wearing a weird hat, hearing a loud vacuum cleaner, feeling slippery tiles under their paws, or, hearing heavy city traffic, it all leaves a permanent footprint in that wet cement.
So they're just cataloging everything.
Exactly. Their brain is literally building physical neural pathways based on those exact experiences. This is their imprinting and socialization window.
So what happens when they hit 15 weeks? Does the cement just, dry?
It does. The cement cures and hardens. So if a puppy was never exposed to, say, someone riding a skateboard during that wet cement phase, their brain never built a pathway to understand what a skateboard is.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Right. So when they see a skateboarder later as an adult dog, you can't just easily press a new footprint into solid concrete. Doing that causes immense stress.
Because it's literally not in their database.
Precisely. The dog reacts with chronic fear or barking or anxiety because their brain fundamentally lacks the architecture to process that this noisy rolling thing isn't a threat.
That is massive.
Yeah.
It really reframes why early socialization isn't just about, playing with other cute dogs. It's about building their entire worldview before the window slams shut.
It really is.
But beyond just getting used to things, how are they actually thinking? Because I have definitely been guilty of treating my dog like a furry little human roommate who just never learned to speak English.
Most people do.
Well, I read recently about this totally wild experiment that completely shattered my illusion about how smart dogs actually are.
Oh, the gait experiment.
Yes. So researchers set up a test to see if dogs could figure out basic physical cause and effect problems. They had dogs watch humans try to open a gate to get to a tasty prize.
Right.
And one gate worked perfectly fine. The other gate was physically broken, totally jammed. So the dogs watched the humans easily open the working gate and then watched them totally fail and struggle with the broken gate.
And if you showed that exact same demonstration to a human child, even a pretty young child, they would immediately understand the underlying physics.
Right, the kid would just go to the working gate.
Exactly. The child's brain processes the mechanical failure. They think, oh, that gate is stuck, the hinges don't work. I'm just going to walk over to the one that opens.
The dogs completely failed.
They really did.
They didn't go straight to the working gate. They just guessed randomly. I mean, they watched the human struggle, but they couldn't logically infer why the human failed. They just didn't understand the physics of a jammed hinge.
And this comes down to the actual physical structure of the canine brain.
How so?
Well, the neocortex, which is the area of the human brain responsible for complex, logical reasoning, deep abstract thought, understanding cause and effect, it's just much less developed in dogs.
So they don't have that deep logic.
No, they cannot learn through insight. A dog cannot sit back, stroke its chin, look at a complex physical puzzle, and have a sudden aha moment.
I have to stop you there, though, because anyone listening right now who has a dog is probably yelling, but my dog is super smart.
I know, I know.
Like, my dog figures out how to open the trash can, which feels pretty calculated. Are you seriously telling me they don't have logic?
They definitely have intelligence, but it is an entirely different flavor of intelligence.
Okay, a different flavor.
Yes. They are terrible at physics, yes. But they are unmatched absolute geniuses at reading human social cues.
Oh, interesting.
If you point a finger at a toy on the floor, your dog knows to look exactly where you are pointing. Even chimpanzees, which are our closest genetic relatives, they struggle to understand the human gesture of pointing.
Wait, really? Chimps don't get pointing, but dogs do.
Exactly. And if you use a high-pitched happy baby talk voice, a dog's brain biologically lights up, they pay closer attention. Their evolutionary superpower isn't understanding the physical world, their superpower is studying us.
It's almost like they're playing a massive video game, like
Yeah.
Minecraft, but they have absolutely no idea what the underlying computer code is.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Like, they don't know why putting a stick and a piece of coal together in a grid makes a torch. They just know that if they perform the exact right input, they get the exact right output.
Right.
If they sit when you hold up your hand, or if they look at you with those big sad eyes, a piece of cheese magically falls from the sky. They've just learned the cheat codes to human behavior.
That is a brilliant analogy. They are what we call associative learners.
The associative learners.
Yes, they simply link an action to a consequence. And understanding this mechanism is really the key to living a frustration-free life with your dog. You have to stop projecting complex human emotions onto them.
Which brings us right back to the guilt trip from the beginning. The chewed-up sneakers. You said the guilty look is just an act.
It is.
But how is that possible when they look so legitimately devastated by what they've done?
Let's break down the mechanism of that guilty look. The flattened ears, the avoiding eye contact, the tucked tail.
Yeah, the classic look.
Dogs do not feel moral guilt. They do not sit on the couch thinking, man, I really shouldn't have destroyed that shoe. It cost $90, and now my human is going to be financially set back.
I'd be hilarious, but yeah, no.
They simply know that chewing the shoe was physically really fun. But now you have walked into the room, your posture is stiff, and your voice is deep and angry.
Oh, they're reading my cues.
Exactly. The dog's brain instantly registers your aggressive social cues. The flattened ears and tucked tail are appeasement behaviors.
Appeasement. Like, please don't be mad.
Right. They are essentially saying, you look terrifying right now, I am no threat to you, please calm down.
Yeah.
They are reacting entirely to your present anger, not their past crime.
Wow. That actually takes a lot of pressure off. It means they aren't holding grudges, and they aren't destroying things out of spite just because, I went to school and left them home alone.
No, definitely not spite.
They're just living entirely in the present moment, making real-time associations. But if their brain works by making these immediate links, how exactly are we supposed to teach them anything? It sounds incredibly difficult to control.
It sounds hard, but it's actually quite simple once you understand the strict biological timers running in their heads.
Timers.
Yes. Because dogs live so fully in the present moment, their short-term associative memory buffer is incredibly short. It's like a tiny, constantly erasing chalkboard.
Okay, how fast does this chalkboard erase?
Strictly speaking, you have exactly 1.6 seconds.
Wait, 1.6 seconds?
1.6 seconds.
That is barely enough time to take a breath. Human brains don't even process some things that fast.
And that is exactly why humans are often so terrible at training dogs.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
If you want your dog to connect a brand new command, or even a sound, like a training clicker, to a specific action, you have a 1.6-second window to make that connection before the chalkboard wipes clean.
Wow.
And to reinforce a behavior, meaning giving them a reward so they know they did a good job, you have a maximum of 3 seconds.
3 seconds to reward them.
Right. Any longer than 3 seconds, and their brain has already swiped to the next thought.
Okay, I want to frame this for anyone listening who spends time scrolling on their phone. Imagine a dog's attention span is like scrolling through short-form videos, like TikTok or Reels.
Oh, perfect.
If a video doesn't hook you in the first 3 seconds, you swipe away. So if you tell your dog to sit, they sit, and you spend 5 seconds digging around in your pocket for a treat. By the time you hand them the treat, they are looking at a bug on the carpet.
Yes.
You didn't just reward them for sitting, you just rewarded them for looking at a bug.
Precisely. Let's apply this fading chalkboard to a classic everyday training disaster.
Okay, lay it on me.
You're at the park. You call your dog to come back to you. But there is a very interesting squirrel, so your dog completely ignores you.
A tale as old as time.
Right. So you stand there for a full minute, getting more and more annoyed. Finally, the dog loses interest in the squirrel and trots back over to you. What does the average person do in that moment?
I mean, I know I've done this. You scold them. You say, "Bad dog, why didn't you come when I called?" Because you were just so frustrated it took a whole minute.
Which is a massive critical error.
Because of the timer.
Remember the 3-second rule? The dog's brain cannot connect your angry scolding to the fact that they ignored you 60 seconds ago. That memory is completely gone from the chalkboard.
Oh, no.
They connect your scolding to whatever they did in the last 3 seconds, and what did they do?
They came to me.
Yes, they came to you. You just actively punished your dog for returning to you.
That is completely blowing my mind. You were literally training them to run away from you next time.
Exactly. Even if you are incredibly annoyed, if the dog finally comes to you, you must reward them instantly.
Okay, noting that down.
Now let's look at another super common issue. Barking.
Oh yeah, lots of dogs bark for attention.
Right. Many families struggle with a dog that constantly barks for attention. If a dog barks at you while you're trying to do your math homework and you spin around in your chair and yell, "Quiet," what just happened biologically?
I mean, normally I would assume I just discipline them, but based on what you're saying,
Yeah.
did I just reward them?
You gave them exactly what they wanted.
Oh man.
This raises the vital question of what a reward actually is. A reward isn't just food. If the dog's goal was simply to get you to stop looking at your math homework and engage with them, your negative attention, your yelling, is still engagement.
Wow, so I just positively reinforced the barking.
You did. The same logic applies to leash pulling. If your dog pulls heavily on the leash because they want to sniff a specific bush, and you just let them drag you over to that bush, the physical environment just became the reward. You just trained them that pulling works.
So it's entirely about managing the consequences within that tiny 3-second window.
Exactly.
But what if you find yourself in a situation where you don't want them to make a connection? Like, say we are playing fetch in the yard. My dog drops the tennis ball, but the absolute microsecond I reach my hand down to pick it up, he snaps it back into his mouth.
Oh, the classic fake out?
Yes. He thinks my reaching hand is the cue to play tug of war. How do I stop that?
That is a very common accidental association. Your hand reaching down has become the input that triggers their grab output. To disconnect those two events, you cannot use force. You have to wait out their nervous system.
Wait them out. How?
You must pause for at least 5 seconds.
Wait, just do nothing.
Completely freeze. The dog drops the ball. You stand completely still, like a statue, for 5 seconds. The 3-second associative window closes. The mental chalkboard wipes clean. The nervous system resets.
I know that.
Then, after 5 seconds, you calmly reach for the ball.
It literally is a cheat code for the dog's brain.
It really is.
1.6 seconds to link a new idea, 3 seconds to reward a good job, and 5 seconds of freezing to break a bad habit.
That's the formula.
But this brings up a huge logistical problem. If I literally only have 1.6 to 3 seconds to reward my dog, I can't be, like, struggling to break off a piece of a giant crumbling dog biscuit. The timer would run out.
Right, the 3 seconds would be gone.
Does that mean the type of treat we use is actually a speed tool?
It matters immensely. Treats are not just fun snacks, you know? They are highly strategic, functional training tools. You have to match the physical treat to the specific task, largely based on how fast the dog can consume it.
Okay, break that down for me. Because if you walk into any pet store, there are entire aisles of different treats. How does a student know what to actually grab for a training session?
Well, you can categorize them into 3 main types based on speed and value. First, you have your standard training treats.
Okay.
These need to be incredibly tiny, like pea-sized soft, and practically swallowable without chewing. You use these for fast, repetitive learning, teaching a dog to sit, lie down, or stay by your side on a walk.
Like rapid-fire rewards. Because if you give them a massive, dry biscuit for simply sitting down, They're going to spend 45 seconds chewing it,
Leaving crumbs everywhere.
right, sniffing the floor for the crumbs, and by the time they look back at you, they have completely forgotten that they are supposed to be learning to sit.
Exactly.
It would be like giving me a massive, heavy 4-course steak dinner for answering a single history question correctly. I'm not going to be motivated for the next question. I'm going to want to take a nap. I need something like a single Skittle to keep me moving.
Yes, the Skittle analogy is perfect. You want them to swallow it in half a second and immediately look back up at your face, fully engaged, asking, what is the next game?
Love that.
But then you have high-value treats. Think of things like specialized dried meats. These are your jackpot rewards.
Jackpots. Okay, when do we use those?
You do not waste a jackpot on a simple sit. You use dried meats when the dog learns something profoundly difficult or when they overcome a huge psychological hurdle. For example, if you are teaching a dog to comfortably accept wearing a muzzle or getting them used to the loud noise of a blow dryer after a bath, that takes massive mental effort and trust. When they hold still and succeed, they get the jackpot. High effort equals high paycheck.
That makes total sense. What about those huge dental chews, though? The ones that take them half an hour to get through.
Never, ever use dental treats or long-lasting chews during active training.
Because of the speed.
Exactly. They completely break the flow of the session. But they do serve a very important biological purpose afterward. Dental treats are strictly for relaxation. You give a dog a long chew after the training session is totally over when you want them to settle down on their bed.
Because it just keeps them occupied.
Actually, no, because of the brain chemistry involved.
Wait, really?
Yeah. The mechanical, repetitive act of chewing actually stimulates the release of endorphins in a dog's brain. It's an evolutionary, self-soothing mechanism. It physically lowers their heart rate and helps them calm down after working hard.
I never realized chewing was literally altering their brain chemistry. That is totally fascinating.
It's a great hack to help them relax.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about puppies and adult dogs. We've got the wet cement puppy brains, the 1.6-second timing rules, and the rapid-fire Skittle-style training treats.
Wow.
But let's shift gears for a second. What happens when our best friends start getting gray around the muzzle? Because an older dog's brain must change just as much as their slowing bodies, right?
It does. And tragically, the senior phase of a dog's life is widely misunderstood by families. As dogs age, they can develop a biological condition called CCD, which stands for canine cognitive dysfunction.
Oh, I've heard of that.
It is remarkably similar in its mechanism to Alzheimer's disease in humans.
Oh, that is heartbreaking. What is physically happening in their brain? Is it just old age?
It's not just normal aging. It's a distinct physical change. Proteins, specifically senile plaques, begin to build up in the dog's brain. Imagine a computer hard drive that has become severely fragmented. The pathways that usually transmit information get blocked. The signals just get lost.
How would someone listening know if their senior dog is just naturally getting a bit tired versus actually suffering from a fragmented hard drive, from CCD? What does it look like?
The symptoms are highly specific. A dog with CCD might suddenly become disoriented in the house they've lived in for 10 years.
Really? In their own house?
Yes. A classic sign is a dog walking behind a couch or under a coffee table getting stuck in a corner and literally forgetting the physical sequence required to walk backward to get out. They just stand there, stuck. They might stare blankly at a wall.
Oh, this is so sad to watch.
It is. You might also see them lose their house training, having accidents indoors right after you just brought them inside from the yard. They might completely forget basic commands they've known their whole life.
And what about their energy levels?
That's a big one. One of the most exhausting symptoms for families is that the dog's sleep schedule completely flips upside down.
Upside down how?
The fragmented brain pathways disrupt their circadian rhythm, so they sleep incredibly heavily all day, and then they pace the dark house, panting or whining all night long.
If a student or a family notices their 12-year-old dog doing this, shouldn't they just let the dog rest? A lot of people think, my dog is old, their joints hurt, they just want to sleep on the rug all day. I shouldn't bother them.
I cannot stress this enough. That is a huge mistake.
Really?
Yes. Letting a senior dog simply lie around all day without engaging their brain actively accelerates their cognitive decline. The brain is a muscle. It operates on a use it or lose it principle.
Oh, wow.
They desperately need mental stimulation for their neurological well-being. You simply have to adapt the games to accommodate their physical limits. No high-speed agility courses, but plenty of brain work.
So what kind of games can someone easily set up at home after school to keep their older dog's brain defragmented and working?
Simple, low-impact sensory games are perfect. The canine olfactory bulb, which is the part of the brain that processes smell, is massive. So hide and seek is incredible.
Like hiding from the dog?
No, you don't hide yourself. You take their favorite highly smelly treats and hide them around the living room, under a towel, behind a chair cushion, or out in the short grass in the garden. Tell them to find it. This forces them to use their nose to solve a spatial puzzle, which heavily engages their neural networks.
I love that. It's like an indoor scavenger hunt. What else can we do?
Interactive puzzle toys and lick mats are fantastic tools. You can take dog-safe peanut butter or wet food, smear it onto a textured silicone mat, and freeze it.
Oh, a frozen lick mat.
Exactly. The dog has to actively figure out how to navigate all the little rubber grooves to lick the food out. It requires intense focus and problem solving, which safely exhausts their brain in a deeply satisfying way, without putting any strain on their aging joints.
What about going outside? Should you still be practicing training on their daily walks, even if they walk super slow?
Absolutely. Reviewing the basics on a short walk is crucial. Gently asking for a sit at a crosswalk or a look at me when another dog passes gives the senior dog a sense of purpose and achievement.
Even if they already know it.
Yes, it keeps those old, deep neural pathways firing. You aren't trying to teach an old dog a backflip. You are simply reminding their brain that it still knows how to work. You are validating them.
That is so incredibly poignant, just helping them remember they are still a good dog who knows how to do their job in the family.
Precisely. Treating them with the profound patience they deserve while refusing to let them fade away.
Well, if you are listening to this right now, whether you are dealing with a wild puppy chewing your shoes or a sweet old senior snoozing in the corner, here is your ultimate cheat sheet for better coexistence.
The main takeaways.
Right. First, remember that dogs do not think like us. They don't understand the complex physics of a broken gate, and they certainly don't do things out of human guilt or spite. They live in a world of quick associations. Second, timing is quite literally everything. Remember the fading chalkboard. You have a 1.6-second window to link an idea, 3 seconds to reward the good stuff, and you must freeze for 5 seconds to break a bad habit.
That's the golden rule.
Third, make sure you are using the right tools for the job. Use tiny rapid-fire treats for fast learning, and save the big chewy stuff for triggering endorphins and relaxing after the work is done.
Exactly right.
And finally, never stop playing brain games with your dog, especially as they get older. Keeping their mind active with scavenger hunts and puzzles is just as critical as keeping their body healthy. Honestly, recognizing that your dog is a dog, respecting their biology instead of treating them like a tiny human in a fur coat, is the truest form of love you can show them.
I couldn't agree more. Respecting their biology is really the key to an incredible bond. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final, slightly provocative thought to ponder.
Oh, I am ready. Lay it on us.
We've established today that dogs are terrible at physics, but they are unparalleled, absolute geniuses at reading human social cues, body language, and micro-expressions.
Right, the pointing and the voices.
They watch us constantly. Their survival depends on studying us. So the question you should ask yourself is, what tiny subconscious habits are you doing every single day that your dog has already perfectly memorized without you even realizing you are doing them?
Oh, wow.
Is there a specific way you sigh before you stand up to feed them? A tiny shift in your weight before you reach for the leash? I guarantee you, your dog has mapped your subconscious behaviors better than you know yourself.
Whoa, that is entirely spooky and amazing at the same time.
Yeah.
I am definitely going to be watching my dog watching me now. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the canine brain. Go grab some tiny treats, test out that 1.6-second rule, and go set up a game of hide and seek for your dog right now. See you next time.